Well, hello everyone. Happy July 4th to you, and I hope you're having a good one and trying to stay cool out there. It is definitely brutal. I was out earlier and we had a heat index of about 105 at my house in Garner, North Carolina. But anyway, Joshua Nagelberg here with your July 4th video. It's a little bit of a special edition. I wasn't really expecting to be working, but we woke up to a new tropical depression in the Atlantic Ocean. Wow. And no one really saw that coming. I mean, yesterday I could see a cloud swirl out there in the Southwest Atlantic, but boy, have things started to heat back up. And you know what? That's going to kind of lead into what I'm going to talk about more here in this video here real quick. So let's go ahead real quick. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll see my update from yesterday and our latest forecast. Still looking at what's looking like the tropics heating up in a few weeks. I mean, honestly, if you're looking at the outlooks today and tomorrow from the Hurricane Center, it's already heating up. So things are definitely busy. On CarolinaWeatherAuthority.com, you'll see the post that I made this earlier around lunchtime. Maybe a future waste of a name, and that would be Edward. I'll talk about that in just a second. If you scroll down a little bit more, you can see radar and satellite imagery, and then there's a link to our models page, which if you click on, you get to see quite a bit more about what the Hurricane Center has, so you don't have to wait for us to update it on Facebook for you. Also, you can take a look at some more high-tech science, if you want to call it that. Temperature outlooks, jet stream, wind shear, Madden-Julian oscillation, if you're really a weather nerd like I am, and threats for severe weather. We do have some tropical model activity as well for you to take a look at. So there's quite a bit, and I'll help and kind of simplify it for you if I can do that. But anyway, we do have a new tropical depression, number 5. It's actually west-southwest of Bermuda. If you looked at the models with me on the video yesterday, you would have not even known this was out there. I mean, literally the Hurricane Center kind of took a blob of storms this morning and ran with it. And it is actually poised to maybe affect Bermuda here overnight into tomorrow morning. Right now, just a gale force warning out for Bermuda. They have not issued a tropical storm watch or warning. And I guess there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, we don't issue warnings for Bermuda. They have their own weather service. Number 2, maybe they don't believe this is really a tropical system that's going to provide too much for them. They'll get some rain and wind for sure, but maybe they think the Hurricane Center has actually jumped the gun a bit here and just kind of naming storms to keep padding the numbers. I mean, we could sit here and argue about it all night. I really don't think it's worth it, but this is just another in a line of several low-end storms which have formed kind of close in from homebrew, we call it. Arthur formed from a front that developed into a tropical wave and then moved northward and affected the Outer Banks. Bertha came from a front that got pulled northward by an upper low, formed really close to land. Let's see, Cristobal was actually not a homebrew storm. That came up from a wave out of Mexico into the Gulf and actually came out of a big gyre. But then Dolly was kind of a front that reformed into a tropical system and moved up this direction. Now Edward from a front moving in this direction. And guess what? I think there could be another one coming down the pipe here. So a look at the visible satellite does show our depression. You know, it's got thunderstorms firing out of it. It could be classified a tropical storm at any point. Here's Bermuda, so it's going to go by just to the north and east. Really nothing for us to worry about in the Carolinas, so that's kind of cool. And then forecast models do kind of take it just north of the island and then out over the open waters of the ocean where it will cool off and eventually become extratropical. Now, what I am going to be looking more closely at here is a couple of broad areas of circulation along, not really a front, but maybe an upper low that's going to form here in the central Gulf states. Now, right now, we don't have anything organized over land. We've got some nasty weather across northern Florida and over southeast Louisiana. As this upper level system tracks eastward over time, you know, we are going to have to keep an eye on it. But over the next few days, we're just going to see kind of typical run-of-the-mill showers and storms in the Carolinas. It should break the heat a little bit, but certainly not the humidity. Ocean waters over the northeast Gulf and offshore are running above average. And, you know, we are in July, so waters are definitely warm enough. Ocean heat content isn't super high, so looking at a hurricane forming close in is very unlikely, but a tropical storm certainly could form with this amount of ocean heat content. Anything coming down in here would definitely become a hurricane with a lack of wind shear. So let's take a look at pivotalweather.com, and let me get this out of the way here real quick, if you don't mind. All right, well, we're going to keep rolling here. This is the GFS model and from pivotalweather.com, and shows these areas of storms over the southeastern Gulf, and then it looks like things get a little busier here. This is Monday and Tuesday of next week. So we are going to welcome back, or maybe not welcome back, the enhanced chance of rain by the second half of next week. But this is what's looking like low pressure forming over Georgia and South Carolina on Thursday. And look at this slug of moisture coming up through the Outer Banks. Could be some pretty heavy rain if the GFS is right. And this low never really gets out over the water, according to the GFS model. But I've seen some very inconsistent behavior from the GFS. You know, a couple days ago, it was showing this thing splitting off and forming a hurricane near Louisiana and Texas. Then it was showing something over the Carolinas, and then it was showing something offshore. So the bottom line is, whether or not something does form in the Carolinas, there's going to be a lot of moisture coming in from the tropics here. So we're expecting to see a lot of rain later this week and over next weekend over the Outer Banks and eastern Carolinas. If this low tracks farther west, Raleigh could be pretty darn wet. Same with Myrtle Beach. If it's farther east, we're talking about the Outer Banks and the Emerald or the Crystal Coast, the Emerald Isle, for example. Now, the European model, this is what I think has actually done a better job over time in forecasting the tropics. And this is what I want to look at more here over the next couple of days. We actually have what looks like a weak area of low pressure forming off the eastern Gulf Coast states, central eastern Gulf Coast states. It doesn't do a whole lot. You know, this is Monday and Tuesday. Definitely brings that moisture in, but then it looks like it jumps to the South Carolina offshore waters on Wednesday and develops into a tropical system here on Thursday morning. So Thursday, Friday, and it's lingering very close to the coast into even Saturday before it starts to pull away. This is something I really think might be a coin flip at this point, but I would not be shocked if the storm I talked about near Bermuda is going to be Edward, and this ends up being Faye. And F storms in the Carolinas are like magnets, it seems. Now, is it going to be a hurricane hitting the Carolinas? I really don't think so. Could it be a tropical storm producing 50-mile-an-hour wind to the Outer Banks on Friday? Definitely. So right now, we're just going to keep watching it. We're not sounding the alarm just yet, but I'm creating this video to let you know if you have plans to travel to the beaches at the end of this upcoming week or next weekend, maybe in for a tropical storm. I would not be shocked one bit. And if you look at rainfall totals, by the way, this is the Canadian model here. And actually did a pretty good job of picking up on that system near Bermuda. But this is Wednesday of this upcoming week, and then Thursday, low pressure forms off of Wilmington. And some pretty good wind off the coast, but really just a weak low pressure system. So maybe a depression or storm. We'll see. I mean, the water's definitely warm enough just off of the Outer Banks for something weak to form. Do we think a hurricane forms out of this? Very unlikely. Could it stay over land and then move offshore? Certainly. So, yeah, we definitely think there'll be a coastal low by the middle of next week. GFS is producing some pretty crazy amounts of rain, 14, 15 inches in here. I mean, sheesh, come on now. This is like May and June all over again. 11 inches. Now, Raleigh and points on west are, you know, scattered showers and storms every day. But, you know, Wilmington, 5 inches of rain maybe. 6, 7, 12 inches. You know, this is something we got to be watching out for, I think. The European model, though, keeps a lot of that slug of moisture offshore. Still has a lot of rain here, like Duck and Rodanthe. You know, we're talking 8 inches of rain. Nag's Head, 6, 5. So somebody could get a lot of rain at the coast. You know, it may be this area, it could be this area, it could stay offshore. So keep it tuned here. European model, this was yesterday, didn't have a whole lot. But here we go. Definitely developed something over the waters, and I think if you saw Mike's post from last night, a 50% chance of tropical depression to form in this region over the next 5 days. So, you know, we definitely think something could happen, and this could end up being Faye. So we'll keep you guys posted on the latest, but thanks for joining us on this holiday, and I hope you guys are safe. Enjoy some fireworks and some social distancing, and stay cool out there. We'll see you soon.